Join Vince and I, and even Doom's Vince, every Wednesday night at 7 Central Time on the Supervillain Network for a brand new episode of the Geekvolution Radio Hour. A full hour of intellectually stimulating discussion, or the next best thing. We recently learned that the Hulk is supposed to be in Thor Ragnarok, and there's been, of course, a lot of question after Age of Ultron as to where that character was going to be and if we would see him again even at all before Infinity War. And I'm a little bit surprised that he's supposed to be there that early. So who knows what exactly he's going to be doing, but I think that makes so much sense because Ragnarok is going to be dealing with Surtur and a lot more of the Walt Simonson stuff, and it's good to have another big heavy hitter that, unless Mark Ruffalo comes in and for some reason the Hulk is mostly an antagonist in that, but I very, very, very much doubt that will be the case. I bet it'll be, and I don't know, but I bet it'll be he comes in and helps Thor with this problem. I mean, Surtur is this big, giant, scary, ancient monster thing. I mean, like, it would be really cool to get Hulk in there. And I think that's a really cool addition to that story that we didn't have before, so...
Yeah, I've kind of wanted to see another Hulk movie, but, I mean, I feel like people are a little burned out on Hulk movies. They just want Hulk in the Avengers. I don't necessarily know that that's true. I just kind of feel like it is.
Well, I mean, I guess we can talk about that for a second if you want to. For whatever reason, Marvel just doesn't want to do that right now. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not that. We've talked about this 1,000 times. There's rights issues, and it doesn't make any sense. But they're allowed to put Hulk in other movies, but for some reason, because of stuff with Fox, they can't give him another movie. Now, I still don't understand this. They gave him one in the first place. It was the second one we got. But I don't want to belabor that because we've talked about it before. But anyway, so I mean, I don't know when or if we'll ever see another standalone Hulk movie. But for me personally, I don't care. I've always liked Hulk better with teams, but then again, I used to have that with Captain America and Iron Man, and I really like their movies a lot, or at least most of them.
I'd kind of like to see, I don't know, I get a little nervous when I start hearing people are going to be in, like, significant versions of the other movie. Like, for example, I don't think Captain America Civil War should be Captain America. I think it should be Marvel Civil War.
We need to see it before we can make that determination, but especially because... it's looking more and more like Winter Soldier is going to be such a prominently featured character in that it might end up making a lot of sense that Captain America's the tagline there. You're right, it may be mostly that way to sell tickets, but then I feel like Marvel Civil War would sell just as well, but again, that's another conversation we've had. But I mean, it's just more and more we're seeing these characters becoming supporting characters in other movies, but we've had precedent for this from the very beginning, right?
Yeah, I know, but I've always kind of said that it makes me nervous about where it's going to go because, how long can they keep up steam?
I think they're proven, though. I mean, as far as that stuff goes, I mean, they've been telling, especially thematically, an overarching story since Iron Man that is somewhat subtle and in the background and easy to not think about when you're just watching movies. But man, when you sit down and you look at them all together, there's this big overarching, and I don't know how much longer we can milk it, especially what we did with Age of Ultron. But there's been this big overarching moral question of freedom versus security since Iron Man, going all the way through all of them, And so I'm just saying that, and we talked a lot about how, certain movies have been almost made better by movies that came after them that didn't even necessarily have anything to do with, or weren't in the same franchise, but were in the Marvel thing. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know why it should make you nervous that Hulk's going to be in a Thor movie.
Well, I guess we really haven't solidly had that yet, because you look at it, I mean, the Avengers are in the Avengers. I mean, I get it.
But again, there's precedent. We introduced Black Widow this way.
Yeah.
In Iron Man 2. Now, I mean, I'm not saying that was great, but I don't like that movie. But we introduced Black Widow in that movie. There's precedent for this.
No, I'm not saying there wasn't precedent. I've just always said it's kind of made me nervous. But the only thing that keeps me from getting more nervous about just shoving characters in, because it makes me nervous that people are going to treat characters like they do in comics, where it's just that theater where everybody gets into this, like, you should read this or watch this because Hulk's in it, or you should read this and watch this because Thor's in it. And like, no, I want to read a good story. And the thing that makes me hold on for this is, why would you take a big name actor and shove him into a movie and spend that much money and not have a good reason for it other than putting butts in the seats? Because
you haven't seen it yet. You don't know that they're going to do that.
Yeah, like, and that's kind of what I'm saying, is that they could do the thing where they're like, well, we're going to just put butts in the seats with the name. Or they could say, you know, if we're going to spend this much money, we might as well make it worth our while.
I just feel like these are concerns that I made sense to have when we had 2 movies, not 10.
Well, I mean, the future of it. That's kind of what I'm saying. Is that I don't necessarily... I love my characters to exist in a vacuum. I have a prejudice, I understand.
Do you like the way they've done it so far?
Yeah, so far I've liked it.
So what's not to say they'll probably do it the same way going forward?
Not saying they won't. I'm saying it makes me nervous.
Okay.
All right.
I just wouldn't have even thought of that.
I'm not enough of a jerk to say that I don't like it.
Yeah, but it sounds like you are kind of saying I don't like it. I mean,
I don't like the idea of making a big universe where everybody can be in their own movies. I'm like, no, cross them over in the Avengers. That's where they belong in a crossover. Don't cross them over to each other's movies.
See, I just don't agree with that anymore. They've proven it as being a good idea before. Like, it doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't bug me. I mean, like for instance, you know, one of the coolest scenes to me in Ant-Man was Falcon's cameo. I mean, I just thought it was great. Like the way the Avengers thing plays in that movie is really fun, and the explanation for why they're not involved and that it's just kind of too small time for them. And I don't know, I really kind of dig. Yeah, I really kind of dig that stuff, and I think that whether you like it or not, moving forward, these are all Avengers movies. Yeah, like they kind of are all Avengers movies, Vince. And I mean, like, Civil War's gonna have everybody. I mean, it almost would have made more sense to put Avengers in front of that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like, you could still make Captain America the protagonist and call it Avengers.
No, you can. No, that's absolutely true. Not? But you got to understand that. And you've not read the Walt Simonson stuff, but when we make Ragnarok and the stuff and the characters that they're talking about, I mean, that are going to be in that movie, that's going to be very, very much the Norse stuff. Yeah. And it will be a Thor movie. You know what I mean? Like it will be about Asgard. And I don't think there's anything wrong with throw Hulk up there with them if they have a good reason to do it. And I mean, I just feel like I just gave you a really good reason for why you might want to use that character. But
I mean, I guess I never did read the Walt Simonson stuff, but I did read Ragnarok. I mean,
I also think that it could be really cool. Okay, here's another potential, because you're making a decent argument, or at least for why you don't like this stuff, but that kind of thing. But let me suggest this: in an Avengers movie, would we take the time to really compare and contrast the Hulk and Thor the way we did Hulk and Iron Man in the first Avengers movie? You know, probably not. And so if they go there and they make Hulk a big part of this, and I don't know that they are, but if they do that, those could potentially be really interesting characters to contrast. And we haven't really dealt with them with them and giving them a relationship yet. And the bigger we make the Avengers movies, the harder it's going to be to do that. Plus, remember that Hulk's gone. He doesn't want to be an Avenger anymore. So if he can't be in his own movies, we're going to be shoehorning him into Avengers movies if we're not using him someplace. So you're not going to get him anymore unless they have him turn his mind around really fast about why he's left. And I think that would be hard.
With the big movie franchise like this, the way I have seen it is more along the lines of, if they cross over in the Avengers, that means they're a part of each other's lives. So if you've got another movie, they might cross over there too. It's not like they just suddenly don't exist in their lives, but they're adding that to the movie to say, hey, there's still a presence. But
Vince makes a good point when he says that sometimes it seems like we just shove them in there.
Yeah, just shove them in there just for the purpose
Black Widow was shoved in Iron Man 2. I mean, like, there wasn't really any great reason for her to be there.
Black Widow in Winter Soldier made a lot of sense. She is, in this universe, a S.H.I.E.L.D. operative.
That would have been the other big example I would have given you for here's the time it needed to be done. And again, we got to build a relationship between her and Captain America that we would not have spent the time to do in an Avengers movie.
Which I'm okay with what they did with it because it made sense. Like in this one, I'm like,
so you're saying you don't know if you can trust it.
Why would Hulk be in Asgard unless, contrivance? Why would Hulk even be involved? because somebody's gonna go grab him and pull him over.
I mean,
well,
again, yeah, we'll see. And also, in your defense, this is just my personal opinion, we haven't had 2 great Thor movies.
Yeah, no, I kind of hate the Thor movies, and I know that. Well, I don't know that I'm in the minority, but I feel like I'm in the minority. I have a lot of people that say it could have been worse. That Rainbow Road would have looked really stupid if it was straight a rainbow. I'm like, yeah, but you can't judge the narrative of a movie based on how cool the road looked. I mean, you can't.
Yeah, no, it looked right.
It looks great. The casting was fantastic. Good job, guys. Writers, you can't just have people walk around and say, time for me to learn my lesson and expect me to think it was a great movie.
You understand, I'm not attacking you.
No.
I totally see where you're coming from, but I wanted to kind of argue with you a little bit and fill you out on it, because I just feel like I feel like there's more reason to trust it than not to.
I just kind of wish, here's the deal.
But you make a good point when you're like, well, it's a Thor movie, and it's gonna be another big Asgard movie. Why would Hulk be there? I can see why you'd say that.
If you made a Batman movie and just put Superman in it, I'd be annoyed. But if you make a movie and call it Superman Batman and it's about Superman and Batman, I go, cool. If we call this Hulk and Thor does the Asgardian thing, regardless of whether that's a stupid title, it still has both their names in there.
Do the Asgardian thing.
See, that's why team names are better, because if you call it Suicide Squad, you can put anybody in there you want to.
This is called Franchise the Movie.
You're not going to be surprised at all.